All right, we're only a day away from 49ers report time, and it's coming up on the 24-hour mark of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch press conference. So we are entering full preview mode now. First with the offense. Matt Barrows and I are working on a 90-player review up on The Athletic. We are going through every single player on the 49ers roster, and the first half of it is out this morning. The second half of it is going to be out tomorrow morning. This is the offense. This was written by Matt. I wrote the defense and the special teams. It divides up into 45 and 45 to add the 90. So the 49ers roster review, a look at every offensive player entering training camp. I'm copying the link. I'm going to toss it into the chat right now. You can go ahead and check that out. For the purposes of this preview live, we're going to be going through the 49ers 90-man roster. And the 90-man roster is available for you on the Google Doc, up on the internet as well. Here you go. You can follow along as we talk about the offense today. So I'm copying and pasting that link. You can go ahead and check it out in the comment section right now. Before we delve into this, it's time to hit 40,000. I believe we're 19 subscribers away from 40K. The goal all off season has been to hit 40,000 before the start of training camp. Well, I think we're going to do it. Maybe we'll be number 40,000. Maybe a special prize for subscriber number 40,000. So if you hit that sub button right now, you might have a chance to be the 40,000th subscriber of the season, or the 40,000th, right? 40,000. Yeah, it's a tongueful, right? 40,000th subscriber of the channel. Fun stuff. Anyway, 49ers training camp, the offense preview. If you have any questions, save them for the Q&A because I'm not reading right now. I'm going to go through this position by position. We're going to be short, sweet, succinct with this, just to give a lay of the land, what to watch everywhere. Quarterback, well, what to watch? All four guys. Going to be really interesting. But the first thing to keep a note of, stay apprised of, is will Brock Purdy begin on the PUP list, physically unable to perform? I would expect him to. I have been expecting him to, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was out of practice, given how well he has been progressing and the little morsels of information suggesting that the rehab has been coming along ahead of schedule. If Purdy is not on PUP, whoa, big arrow up for how quickly everything is returning to normal for him. But if he is on PUP, it's nothing to freak out about. Doesn't mean that he has to miss any game time. You can activate a player from training camp PUP at any time. It's the regular season PUP list, which is a completely different thing, where the player has to miss at least 4 games. So Brock Purdy might go on PUP this week. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch might announce it on Tuesday. But if that does happen, it is certainly nothing to freak out about. I would think that there would be some overreactions to that online. But that, I think PUP would be the status quo, given the fact that he had surgery, in March, I think, and they were talking about a 6-month return timeline. So that'd be September. So people expected him to be physically unable to perform at the start of training camp at the start of this process. But I do think he's ahead of schedule, so there's a chance that he won't be on PUP, which would be a major arrow up for the 49ers. Purdy's the leader in the clubhouse. He's still shaded in pink here until the 49ers say that he's ready to go for practice. That's just, he's got to prove that he's healthy because he's coming off of surgery. Trey Lance has proven that he's healthy. Sam Darnold has been healthy. Brandon Allen has been healthy. 49ers looking for strength and numbers in that quarterback room. I get asked every single day, what's the quarterback room going to look like? The 49ers don't even know for sure. They're waiting for variables that are uncertain to solve themselves. The big key here is to remember that the 49ers are just looking for option power in that quarterback room. They're looking to be as good as possible, 1 through 4. The third quarterback rule this year will allow a team to have a quarterback dressed on game days who doesn't count against the 55-man game day roster. It's 55, not 53 on game days. That further incentivizes a team to keep more quarterbacks in the building. This rule was passed because of the struggles and the catastrophe that the 49ers ran into last year, running out of quarterbacks in the NFC Championship game. So the 49ers might be incentivized to somehow, some way keep all 4 in the building. Whether or not that's possible through the practice squad depends on if one of these guys, namely Brandon Allen, would be willing to take a practice squad salary. That's a bridge we don't have to cross right now. For now, the 49ers are trying to maximize what they have in the room in context of the 90-man roster. And we'll see if Trey Lance and his improved release and Brandon Allen and his time as QB2 behind Joe Burrow and Sam Darnold and his benefit from playing under Kyle Shanahan. We'll see if that all adds up into the 49ers being in a position where they have the option power that they're looking for, where they can maneuver at the roster cut down deadline. Those are all pleasant fictions at this point. Until they prove that they have the luxury of moving guys around and maybe even trading somebody, it's a pleasant fiction, and it's not really worth delving into now. This is why training camp is going to be so intriguing, because we'll be able to track all of this in real time. All right, on to the running back position preview for that. Well, it's Christian McCaffrey and everybody else. McCaffrey's a game changer. McCaffrey's been worth every bit of draft capital the 49ers have traded for him so far. You can knock on wood that he remains healthy. There's the knock. You don't want anybody to get hurt. Elijah Mitchell, you can knock on wood that he stays healthy, because that's been an issue for him. Jordan Mason and Ty Davis Price, two 220-pound bell cows, will be going through a good battle this training camp this offseason. I'm really looking forward to that to round out the room. It will be interesting to see LeBourne and Ronald Awatt, two guys that are good after contact as well, undrafted free agents, but I wouldn't expect them to make the 53 without help from injuries in front of them. Jack Coletto, the fullback, is on the roster. Keep an eye on him, because he and Kyle Juszczyk comprise the fullback room, and the 49ers are constantly looking for a good backup to Kyle Juszczyk. Coletto, the super versatile player out of Oregon State, also some quarterback in his resume, as well as linebacker, played both ways for Oregon State last year. We get a little bit of water, move on to the receiving room. That receiving room looks strong. Obviously, Ayuk, Samuel, Jennings, locks. Danny Gray, not a lock in my opinion. Ray McLeod, lock in my opinion. Ronnie Bell looked really good during OTAs. The question here is twofold. A, Shanahan obviously wants a burner. Who's going to be that burner? Is it going to be Gray? Is it going to be Chris Conley? And Chris Conley's had a good run blocking grade every year in the league. Better run blocker probably than Gray, who's still working on that aspect of his game. Can Chris Conley take that burner role thanks to his ability to also run block? Is Ronnie Bell a lock? He looked good during camp, or OTAs, I should say, not camp, but I don't think anything is very solidified at this point, especially with somebody like Tay Martin turning some heads. He worked out with Trey Lance at TCU recently this offseason. Then you have some of the back of the roster names like Isaiah Winstead, undrafted free agent, Daz Newsome. He's a veteran, but practice squad guy for the 49ers. To me, tight end is inextricably tied to what the 49ers do at that wide receiver position. You have Braden Willis, you have Cameron Latu, a couple of rookies. My question is, do these guys surpass both Ross Dwelly and Charlie Warner, or does only one of them surpass one of those tight ends? Either way, the 49ers have historically taken 4 tight ends on the 53. I think they probably will end up wanting to keep all the rookies in the building. Willis is a big yak guy. Might even be more polished than Cameron Latu at this point, who just over 2 years ago converted to the tight end position from an outside linebacker, pass rusher kind of spot. 49ers drafted Latu higher. They might see more physical potential in Latu, but there's potential in Willis too. And they believe that Willis should have gone earlier in the draft, but he didn't. They got him in the 7th round, and the 49ers are certainly happy about that. So is this the season the 49ers finally get a legitimate number 2 that stays healthy? You know, Jordan Reed was legit, but he didn't stay healthy, opposite George Kittle. That's the big question at the tight end position. Finally, offensive line. When we preview camp, this should be something where we really pay attention to the rotations. You have a look at the rotations here. I highlighted them in blue. Trent Williams, left tackle. Banks, left guard. Brendel, center. Burford, right guard. I think the 49ers are going to be better 1 through 5 along the O-line than last year, and they were already good last year, because you essentially replace Mike McGlinchey, a suspect pass protector, with Colton McKivitz, who can be better in pass protection. He might still be a suspect pass protector, but McGlinchey was not a world beater. We'll see if McKivitz and the development the 49ers have put in with him ends up paying off. Pay close attention to that. Then pay attention to cohesion between the interior guys. Banks, Brendel, Burford. We call them the law firm. Can the law firm improve after a year of playing together? Last year, all 3 of these guys, B, and B, were first-year starters. And they played well for being first-year starters. The biggest jump needs to come from Burford at right guard. And if it doesn't come, then Feliciano can play right guard. But Burford, the 49ers are high on as a young player who started as a rookie. Day one, he was taking first team reps at right guard, and that continued throughout the entire season. 49ers believe that these three can take a step up. They believe Trent Williams still has elite football left in him, and they believe that Colton McKivitz can plug the gap after some development at right tackle. If all those things happen, the 49ers are looking really strong 1 through 5. Depth-wise, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Who's going to be swing tackle? Watch for that at training camp. Is it going to be Matt Pryor? Is it going to be Jalen Moore? Does Leroy Watson ascend up the depth chart? These are all fair questions. And then they've got a lot of intriguing unheralded depth at guard. So Feliciano's obviously the vet that's done, good work over the course of his career there. 49ers happy to have him. But does Nick Zakelj, the second-year man, step up? Do we see something out of Joey Fisher, who benched more than any rookie this year, offensive lineman, coming out of tiny Shepherd University? Or do we see Il Manning, the Hawaii guard, undrafted free agent who's got some good athleticism metrics? Do we see him step up? All of this stuff, these are all intriguing camp battles. So just please don't get sucked into the quarterback vortex. Everybody's going to care about that. It's going to be interesting, but people are going to be dangling clickbait with the quarterback stuff on a daily basis on this channel, which is why you should subscribe and you should help us push past 40,000. We're going to be talking about everything. We'll talk about the QBs, but we'll also talk about the offensive line. What are they going to do at swing tackle? Can they be better along the O-line than last year? Because I think the data suggests that they can. We're going to back everything up with evidence too. We're not just going to sit here with hot takes. And then you look at the tight end position. Can they finally get tight end 2 in the mix? Last year, only 7 catches combined from tight ends outside of George Kittle. That's a problem. The 49ers, that's an area where the 49ers can pick up slack and get a whole lot better. So we'll see if that is indeed the case. And then, of course, you've got your wide receiver position. The Ayuk contract's not going to happen until next year if it's one that's awarded by the 49ers. But there is intrigue throughout the whole room because Jawan Jennings is also in a contract year, and you've got a rookie 7th-rounder named Ronnie Bell trying to make that roster as a back-end receiver, maybe contribute on special teams. Running back, always exciting, especially if Christian McCaffrey is running 110% at practice. I know, though, that everybody's going to be focused on the quarterback position. So perhaps I should give up the crusade to focus on other stuff, but I think that I could say I'm going to focus on it all. Be sure to check out our 90-man roster review. The defense and special teams comes out tomorrow. I'm going to have another video on that when it does come out. But for now, be sure to read Matt's half, 49ers roster review, a look at every player entering training camp. This is going to be the biggest blanket coverage of a season that you can possibly imagine. On The Athletic, we're going to be talking about stuff here. We're going to be talking about the articles on here. So brace yourselves. Hit the sub button. Subscribe to me on Twitter as well, at Lombardi himself. I think it's called X now, not Twitter. But you could follow me on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Be sure that you are there because I'm going to be posting stories everywhere. And obviously, hit the sub button on YouTube because it is time to hit 40,000 and it's time to answer some of your 49ers questions. So here we go. Go to the banner section, 49ers Q&A. All right, everybody have good questions? Jim Everett's back on. So Jim Everett's normally a pretty good-natured Rams fan, but some now people are complaining that he's trolling a little bit. I welcome fans of all teams if they're being good-natured. This to me, sports and social media is like sitting at a sports bar and talking. So we're not going to block people unless they're being. I mean, that's up to Mike too, whether or not people are blocked. But we're not going to block people unless they're being ridiculous. So. I don't follow the chat section all too closely while I'm sitting here talking. When is Bosa signing? I would guess a little bit later this week once the deadline pressure becomes more apparent. Yes, I would expect Bosa to sign in the next few days, maybe not the next couple of days. All right, let's get some good questions on here. Again, the chat section should be good banter, good questions. It shouldn't be for fighting. I think there's a difference between the two. Good debate is fine. I just don't think that Bosa, maybe he will. I'm on Bosa watch, so it could happen at any point, but I don't think that it's quite deadline time yet. And I think deadlines are going to spur action in the case of Nick Bosa. Drinking some water. Stay hydrated. I'm doing the 75 hard challenge right now, which means no alcohol for 75 days, 2 workouts a day, drinking a gallon of water a day, and reading 10 pages a day. I'm nearing day 28, almost a month in. It ends on around September 10th, right when the season starts at Pittsburgh for the 49ers. Anybody else want to do the challenge? Hope this inspires you. Feels great. Just cleansing the body after a long wedding season where there was a lot of parties. So we are now in cleanse mode. I don't think this is the reason Bosa's not signing. He would have signed a lot sooner. 49ers would have wanted to get pen to paper much, much sooner with Nick Bosa. Bosa's side wants to leverage deadline pressure to get a better deal out of the 49ers. I think it's in his best interest, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, if the other people are in Nick Bosa's shoes, I think they probably want to act in a certain way. He's earned his leverage, that's for sure, and he's earned the right to maximize it at this time before he puts pen to paper. Good for you. No drinking for the whole month of August. I usually do a month a year, and this year I'm doing 75 days. And I think it's awesome because you got clarity. It's physically better for you. You're not putting poison into your body, and then you enjoy a drink once. But it's not just a thing that you do. You savor it. You enjoy it once you're done with your little cleanse. So I'm all for good health here on the channel. Working out, good health. So that's why I share what I'm doing, my 75 hard challenge. I got to go get my workouts in before I fly out to San Francisco today, right after we're done with the show. By the way, unless I'm delayed, you can follow my flight. It's United Nashville to San Francisco today. I'll try to come on live from SFO as soon as I land for training camp with a little eve of camp preview tonight. It's I don't know what flight number I'm at. It's United something. That's the second direct flight of the day from Nashville to San Francisco. So I should be landing Pacific time around 9 o'clock tonight. So you could tune in around then. Hell yeah. Watch my show at the gym. I love that. You at the gym right now? No idea if Jake Moody's going to need an adjustment period. You'd think that kicking field goals is similar in college and the NFL, but I'm sure the pressure is going to be a little bit higher in the NFL. So we'll wait and see. But there's no tried and true formula to transitioning a kicker from college to the pros. You can always predict the 49ers win-loss record. Your prediction might get stronger as time goes on. I predicted, I think, 12-5 last year. I think they ended up 13-4, right? I think it was 13-4. So, or were they 12-5? I don't remember, but they finished behind the Eagles, and that meant that they didn't get home field advantage. 2 seed for the 49ers. Who's saying that Christian McCaffrey is the sole reason for Brock's success? I know there's extremists online in this argument. Christian McCaffrey is a huge part of anybody's success because he is one of the great players in football. But Brock Purdy deserves a lot of credit too. At the end of the day, all these debates are really stupid because football is the ultimate team sport. That's what makes it so awesome. Collectively, 11 guys on the field at once are having to pull a team in a unified direction. So if the offense is doing well for the 49ers, guess who gets credit? Christian McCaffrey gets credit. Brock Purdy gets credit. Whoever the quarterback is gets credit. The O-line gets credit. Debo gets credit. Brandon Ayuk gets credit. George Kittle gets credit. And Kyle Shanahan gets credit. They all get credit. What's wrong with that? People seem to have a big problem with that, but it's not a one-man show, and it never is in the sport of football. Hell yeah, thank you. Mike, where are we at in terms of the subs? We opened 21 shy. Wonder where we're at right now. Mike is going to check on that. We're getting to 40,000. It is time to hit 40,000. It's also about time for me to go to lunch. So I wonder how close we are right now. I could always check on my own. Mike is typing right now. We're 18 away. All right. 18 away. Go ahead and hit that sub button. Go ahead and check out the article. This has been the 49ers offense preview at a training camp. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.